Literacy is your weapon against bullshit. Time to strap up. Please be advised that no demo traders were harmed in the making of this video, but they about to be mad. Let's ruffle some feathers, shall we? You ever get a random message from an old friend or family member? They hit you up like, "Hey, what's up? Long time no speak. Let me ask you something. You ever thought about starting your own business?" I started my own a few months ago, and man, let me tell you, it has completely changed my life. Listen, I want to put you onto this opportunity. You got time to chat? So you're thinking to yourself, well, this must be something good. I mean, you know this person. And every time you see them, they are living it up. So then they invite you to join in on a call or attend some lecture about the biggest financial market on the planet, Forex. Over $5 trillion a day in trade volume. That's trillion with a T. Just for context, that's bigger than all the world stock markets combined. Then they hit you with lingo like choose your own hours, recession-proof, and financial freedom. Hey, if you can learn to trade this market, you can stop living paycheck to paycheck. Instead, you can earn this much per month just by getting started. And it only goes up from there. But then check this out. They claim that their company's vision is to educate, enrich, and empower. Ain't that nice? That's a pretty virtuous mission statement. They just want to make everybody wealthy entrepreneurs. I mean, technically you'll have somebody above you calling all the shots because you need access to their platform, but you're the boss, kinda sorta. We'll get back to that later. Anyway, you decide to oblige them and listen to a presentation by a bunch of people masquerading and bloviating like they're public speakers. They get up on stage and say stuff like, if you can afford a cup of coffee every morning, you can afford to pay me to teach you a skill that you'll have for life. So once they're done talking about the financial revolution and how you too can become rich, you figure you're all done. I mean, it was nice with all the graphics and whatnot, but it just sounds too good to be true. But they don't give up that easily. Nah, they hit you up again to see if you're ready to join the movement. Come thrive with me, they say. Now that's when they bust out the testimonials from people talking about how their life has changed since they've become a member. People claiming that they paid off their student loans, their car notes, houses, you name it. Some of them were even able to quit their jobs. So the more they talk and the more testimonials they show you, the more you're coerced into thinking, this Forex stuff sounds pretty easy. Then they start to really get in your head and say, if you've ever traveled to another country, you've already participated in Forex. So they go on to explain that it's a decentralized market which allows you to trade any currency from anywhere on any device at any time. You don't have to ask for permission or check in with anybody or even clock in. You make money on your own terms. Best of all, there's literally no limit to how much money you can make. Now at first this sounded all nuanced and sophisticated, but somehow they were able to make all those complex terms and graphs seem much less intimidating. Matter of fact, they even sweeten the deal. They tell you can learn while you earn. All you gotta do is bring a few friends with you. Not bad, right? Now that's hard to beat. So you mean to tell me I can make money while I'm learning to make money with money? Damn, sign me up. On top of all that, they got people inside the group who will do all the work for you. All you gotta do is follow them and copy paste a few numbers when and where they tell you. But wait a minute. How do they know if and when price will go up or down? That's when they hit you with this slick line. Join and find out. Damn, now you got FOMO. Especially because each of their members seem like they're making bank. So they must be doing something right. Right? So you make yourself buy into the belief that this is your chance to finally live the life you're meant to have. With all this money out here, you'd be a fool not to go and get you some. But if you make any industry cheap enough and accessible to mass entry, there will inevitably be an influx of scammers. Multi-level marketing, also known as network or referral marketing, is one of the worst plagues to ever contaminate modern capitalism. Most people recognize it as a pyramid scheme. I just like to call their members MLMs. They come in all types of shapes, colors, sizes, and industries. Now, multi-level marketing is technically legal in the United States, but the FTC says that pyramid schemes are not. Now, let's be clear before we go any further. Forex itself is not a scam. Without exchanging currencies, it would be basically impossible to buy or sell anything in the global economy, much less go and visit other countries. Now, thankfully, a bunch of these villainous scams have been shut down over the years. Over here in America, the CFTC and the NFA are responsible for oversight to protect investors and traders against manipulation, abusive practices, and fraud. Now, there are many other notable regulatory agencies across the globe, such as the FCA in the United Kingdom, CySec in the European Union, the FSA in Japan, and ASIC in Australia. However, just because many of the world governments have set parameters, that don't mean everybody stays in bounds. Multi-level marketing has spread like the zombie apocalypse in the age of social media. These malignant morons infect everything and everyone they come into contact with, flooding people's timelines with fraudulent claims. They deceive people into thinking they can easily make hundreds or even thousands of dollars trading Forex. MLMs love to play on people's lack of knowledge, their short attention span, and their overall materialistic nature. I mean, look, don't you want to live like this too? Catching flights, not feelings? These are just some of the typical posts you'll see on social media from these clowns. The flashy lifestyle or the deep philosophical quotes with a rags to riches story and an exotic picturesque view in the background. I mean, even I gotta admit, this is ballin'. Then it's followed up with hashtags like blessed, motivation, money moves. All of it is just a bunch of stuff meant to entice you, not to inform you. None of it has anything to do with teaching you how to become a skilled trader. Oh, wait a minute, that's right, you gotta sign up for their courses in Signal service to get that. My bad. Some of the hallmarks of a pyramid scheme, according to the SEC, are a promise of high returns in short time, easy passive income, and a heavy emphasis on recruitment. The passive income, or the residual income as they like to call it, is directly generated by recruiting more people into their cult, not from foreign exchange trading. Their compensation plans are based on a rank system. So if somebody tells you they're now platinum or chairman or any other arbitrary exaggerated superlative, that's just the level they reached in the pyramid according to the number of people in their downline. It ain't an actual qualification and it doesn't amount to anything that will help you in the market. Matter of fact, those rankings aren't even sustainable because the attrition rate is so high. So it's about as significant as being employee of the month. I mean, good for you, I guess, but what the that got to do with Forex? Here's the thing though, multi-level marketing isn't all that bad if you're pushing cosmetics or home goods or supplements. Those are basic consumer products that don't rely on a whole lot of expert knowledge, right? But in Forex, you're leveraging massive amounts of money. So at the very bare minimum, you should understand volatility and risk management. But let's keep it real. That information ain't sexy. Who in the hell wants to hear about taking proper precautions when you got people out here making thousands of dollars in minutes? So MLMs don't even waste their time covering stuff like risk management. That type of stuff is up to you to study on your own after you join. So that's why their target demographics are people who aren't savvy with money. You will never ever see these hopelessly vapid charlatans recruiting actual finance professionals. Nah, instead what they do is go after military spouses, stay-at-home moms, people of color, and college students. They basically prey on people who are captivated by luxury and extravagance. Now, if you actually do sign up under one of these self-anointed leaders, you'll be instructed to watch numerous tutorials on what Forex is, why it's traded, who trades it, when sessions overlap, and blah blah blah. Literally, all of it is stuff you can easily find for free on websites like babypips.com. Now, usually around the same time that you join, you'll get an invite to their group chat. This is where it gets really comical. There is absolutely no sense of organization or separation in experience levels whatsoever. It's just an aimless free-for-all. But they do give you a nice warm welcome into their group and make you feel like you're part of some sort of exclusive winner's circle. Now, just like a cult, they start off by employing something called undue influence as a mind control tactic. But they're real slick with how they do it, so most people never notice. They disguise it as praise and encouragement to all their members, saying stuff like,
"This is the opportunity of a lifetime. You can become the first millionaire in your family. They are depending on your success. Take control of your future. Let's build. Let's grow. Let's load up the next group call and help everybody become a boss."
MLMs basically operate the exact same way as televangelists and preachers. They just love to peddle the prosperity gospel of abundance. But in order to receive the blessing, you have to become fully indoctrinated and give them your money first. Then, once you're hooked on the fantasy, they apply systematic methods of disruption to critical thinking. All that basically means is group leaders withhold and distort information to inculcate you further with their dogma. Only positive speech is allowed. If you got a problem or if there's criticism and dissatisfaction about the group or company, it is immediately shut down. They even got rehearsed excuses and endorsements from other members locked and loaded, ready for anybody they deem a threat. So it's either get in line or get out. So much for customer satisfaction, huh? Look, I don't know who needs to hear this, but downline members vouching for a group leader who claims to be some kind of a guru or an app that sends signals does not prove anything about trading ability. MLMs will never show you their brokerage statement from their live accounts, but they will show you testimonials because it's basically nothing more than a feedback loop. Better yet, it's basically an echo chamber of affirmation bias. In layman's terms, they have no proof showing that they are consistently profitable trading Forex month after month and year after year. I mean, just think about it. Would you go and get a tattoo from somebody who refuses to show you their portfolio? Hopefully not. So why would you give money to somebody to teach you something that they can't prove that they're actually good at? But I know exactly why these scammers can't and won't show you something that's easy to prove. Because they're profiting from recruiting, not from Forex. It's really that simple. Listen, Forex is a zero-sum game. Whenever you buy, someone sells. Whenever you take a profit, someone takes a loss. So if you really think about it, it's mathematically impossible for everybody to win. But that doesn't sound appealing to potential clients. Nobody wants to feel like they can lose every last dime they put into this market, but it happens all the time. There's just no benefit for MLMs to show you the realities of trading, and it definitely ain't in their best interest to tell you that the failure rate is well over 90% for retail Forex traders. And why would they? That's a deterrent. That's bad for business. It's much more profitable to sell a fantasy rather than the truth. It's more advantageous for them to tempt you rather than teach you. If you ever do sign up under one of these MLMs and they finally get around to teaching you how to trade, it's much more heavily focused on technique rather than fundamentals. But what good does that do you if you haven't mastered the basics yet? That's like trying to teach somebody how to make a 3-course dinner where they can barely make a hot pocket without burning it. So all those tips and tricks and strategies they show you are pretty much useless if you haven't locked down the core concepts first. Because what happens if you already got multiple trades open and then they send you a signal for a new one? What's your margin requirement? What's your risk percentage? How do you measure volatility? Where do you place your stop loss? Where do you place your take profit? Why do you place it there? You need a little something I like to call if-then sequences written down as part of your trading system. If blank happens, then blank is my response. Fill in the blanks. Get it? All right, let's move on. But instead of making sure all of their group members understand the material in the curriculum, these intellectually vacuous wannabe experts focus on knocking out membership fees. So they incessantly advertise something called opportunity calls to get more money from more recruits. But this is one of the rare instances where opportunity calls and you shouldn't pick up. Now, in order to get your monthly subscription fee waived, all you got to do is bring on like 2 or 3 new people. That sounds pretty doable, right? Now, anybody you sign up after that activates your residual income. As I mentioned before, this is where the real money is. Then, if your recruits bring in people from their network, it counts towards your downline, and then you'll start to get commissions, aka residual income, from them too. Now, one of the most outlandish things I've personally ever seen is these higher ranking members creating competitions where the winner is awarded brand new people signed up under their downline. I mean, they're basically treating human beings like gift cards. So, as recruiting multiplies and spreads like a virus, those at the top of the pyramid end up getting most of the commission money. Meanwhile, all the mid tier people and everybody underneath them scramble to get more and more people to buy in so they can rank up. Now, somebody remind me, what in the world does this have to do with Forex? I swear, only the Egyptians love building pyramids more than these morally bankrupt con artists. Okay, so it's pretty clear. The fee to join is what they're really after because referrals is their main source of income. But they make that fee seem inconsequential compared to the future wealth you'll be earning. Again, let me emphasize, their survival is reliant on recruiting new members, not trading Forex. Their entire business model is pretty much built on selling hope and hype. So what you'll see is them showing off exorbitant ROIs just to seduce people into their fake-ass academy. Now, when it comes to the group chat, it can get real lively, especially when the more senior members pontificate and debate with one another about which direction a currency pair is about to go. They try to seem clairvoyant by showing off who has the most marked up charts, but it's pretty much just price action, smoke and mirrors. The funny thing is, literally anybody can do this. All you gotta do is go to tradingview.com, click on the Ideas tab, select which asset class you want, scroll down until you see a chart that looks impressive, then screenshot it and share it. And boom, just like that, you look like a savant in a matter of minutes. The thing that always trips me out is these fraudulent Forex traders pulling up charts and showing you past data. I mean, seriously, what good does it do you to see previous price action in the middle of the chart with absolutely no context? Of course, it all looks comprehensive because it already happened. It does absolutely nothing to tell you where price is going next. So, the strategies that MLMs teach are basically as useful as flipping a coin. You, me, and everybody with at least two brain cells to rub together can look at the exact same currency pair on the exact same time frame, and all of us draw completely different support, resistance, and trend lines. Looking for a bunch of random candlestick chart patterns is tantamount to a Rorschach ink blot test. It's completely subjective and arbitrary. To make matters even worse, they love to teach people how to use indicators that were specifically designed for the stock market. Why does that matter, you ask? Well, in case you didn't know, currencies and equities behave completely differently. Currencies don't have intrinsic value, which means they don't obey the laws of supply and demand, which means you're not necessarily buying low and selling high like a stock. With currencies, you're both buying and selling at the exact same time. Hence the name, foreign exchange. You're exchanging one currency for another at the exact same time. Now, also during these demonstrations, they love to show you all the pips you could earn if you sign up for their Signal service, which, by the way, is not part of your base membership. You'd think with that expensive monthly fee you're already paying that everything would be included, but oh no, that's part of their scheme. If you don't sign up for their overpriced yet underwhelming market scanner, you'll be missing out on even more money. Some of the groups offer live trading sessions or apps that mirror the trades of their so-called experts. And in case you're wondering, yes, this also comes at an additional cost. But you gotta keep in mind, it allows you to get trade ideas sent directly to your device without you having to do any of the legwork, which is pretty convenient and dangerous, because it essentially encourages all of their members to play in the market without understanding all of its intricacies. And this plays right into their hand, because it makes no sense for them to properly teach you the craft of trading. They pretty much figured out the same trick that the pharmaceutical industry did. And that trick is that the money isn't in the cure, the money's in the medicine. That's how you really get paid. On the comeback. I mean, just think about it. If you learn to become consistently profitable on your own, you'll no longer need them, right? That's why they want you to be as uninformed, obedient, and dependent as possible. They literally cannot afford to have a bunch of self sufficient, above average traders. Because let's be honest, if you knew what you were doing, you wouldn't be paying them in the first place. Now, next up is the sales pitch to seduce you with all the different lot sizes you can place per pip. It usually goes a little something like this. If you would have entered this trade when I announced it, then you would have made X amount of pips within an hour. If you put one micro lot per pip, how much is that? If you put a mini lot per pip, how much is that? Now, how about if you put a standard lot per pip? How much is that? This is another little mind trick they like to play on people. The reason this is so enticing is because it taps into the brain's euphoric feeling of infinite potential gains. They focus on this superficial aspect of trading because the possibilities are literally endless. See, when you put money into your brokerage account, that's a fixed amount. You can only lose that much money. And even when you place stop losses on your trades, that's a quantifiable sum of money being risked. However, by showing you the limitless money you could have, it makes you want to risk it all with the little money you do have. Inexperienced Forex traders don't understand just how irresponsible it is to trade huge lot sizes with a small account. One standard lot is equal to 100,000 units of the base currency. That's literally $10 per pip. Mind you, that trade has to clear the spread before you can even begin to make a profit. So literally every trade you enter starts off in the negative. All it would take is for that trade to slightly reverse on you just 10 pips in the opposite direction and you'd be down $100 in a matter of minutes, maybe even seconds. Now just imagine if you entered multiple orders of the same pair in expectation of different take profit levels. That's one of the worst case scenarios because your drawdown becomes compounded. Depending on your account size and how many other trades you have open, you can actually be stopped out by your broker before it hits your real stop loss. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to scare anybody by focusing on the negative, because literally anybody can hit a hot streak and win numerous trades in a short amount of time. But again, the key focus of all this is consistent profitability over the long haul. Now, that's not to say you should feel bad for taking any losses. I mean, even professional prop traders go through months of dry spells where they can barely break even. But it's all about mitigating losses and maximizing wins. Alright, now let's dive a little deeper. If these counterfeit traders are really out here killing the game, then tell me why ain't they shopping their skills to institutions like UBS, HSBC, BNP Paribas, Merrill Lynch, BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, or Barclays? Those are just a few of the multi-billion-dollar corporations that will literally pay you to trade with their capital if you're skilled enough. I didn't even mention some of the highly capitalized private equity prop firms all across the globe. Or how about this? Why don't these MLMs just trade on behalf of all the people they recruit instead of trying to teach them how to trade themselves? I mean, if they're the experts that they claim to be, then wouldn't it be far more profitable for them to take the money from people and then trade that and take a percentage of it? But you know why they won't do it? Because they're not real traders. Actually, none of them are allowed to legally advise or trade on behalf of personal clients because they don't have a Series 7, a Series 34, a Series 66, or any other license in between. And I can guarantee you none of these multi-level marketers are registered CTAs. That's why their website notes that they aren't an investment company offering financial advice. Nah, what they do is just offer educational products and services. Maybe it's just me, but paying for financial education from amateurs is complete insanity. Now, let me just back up and clarify. Technically, you don't need any of those qualifications to trade Forex, but anybody that tells you that trading is easy is absolutely lying to you. The truth is, you're at a huge disadvantage. You're not just competing against other traders, you're competing against institutions with the knowledge and power to manipulate entire economies. They have technology to detect which direction retail traders are headed and the monetary muscle to move price the exact opposite way. Now, I know that ain't what most people want to hear, but it's a fact. So you do not want to be dabbling in this market haphazardly. And you best believe there ain't a person, group, or robot on the entire planet that can pull a fixed amount of money out of this market on a schedule. So if you ever see anybody say they make X amount per day trading Forex, they are straight up lying. And I can assure you there is no such thing as risk-free trading unless you're doing it in demo mode. You don't even have to believe me. Ask to see their live account over a year-long period and watch how defensive they get. That's because they're full of shit and excuses. If Forex trading was truly easy, then wouldn't there be multimillionaires everywhere? But who cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining? Even if these MLM groups had the secrets to dominate this market, wouldn't that mean every single member gets the exact same information? So theoretically, that should mean all of them are successful traders, right? But why do they keep recruiting instead of focusing strictly on trading? Think about it. If you had the ability to make hundreds or thousands of dollars with ease, would you waste time trying to show other people how to do it? Or would you focus on tens and hundreds of thousands or maybe even millions? That's like a dude who takes pickup basketball way too serious. It's like, bruh, stop trying to show everybody else what to do and just play. If you got all this skill and energy, then take your ass to the league and play with the big boys. Now, believe it or not, there is yet another level to this pyramid of deceit. MLMs encourage their members to use brokers that are located in faraway, undisclosed locations where there are pretty much no government regulations. Now, why would they do that, you ask? Well, it's highly likely that your upline is acting as a middleman that introduces new clients to the broker's platform, and in return, they receive a cashback rebate. This basically creates a farm system that hustles people out of their money, orchestrated by MLMs and shady brokers all around the globe. These bogus brokers know that most of their clients aren't experienced traders and don't have large sums of money, which is fine by them because they offer insanely high leverage to exploit people's desire to get rich quick. If you aren't familiar with leverage, it's basically a loan by the broker that allows currencies to be traded at a margin. It's pretty much a financial gateway drug. So if you aren't disciplined and systematic about your trading, you definitely will overdose. Now, I forgot to mention, before you sign up, you actually have to enter who referred you first. Big coincidence, huh? Hardly anyone ever joins multi-level marketing organically. That's because the person who recruited you is making money off of you. They try to portray this persona of doing social good by helping everybody become an entrepreneur, but in reality, you never will be as long as you're part of the pyramid. You'll have dozens of uplines constantly putting pressure on you to recruit nonstop because retention rates are abysmal. A team of, let's say, 4 to 5 people isn't enough to stay afloat. You need at least 30 or more personal recruits to survive the constant churning. The majority of people will never recruit that much, though. Members are always dropping out because they can't build or maintain a large enough downline to keep up with expenses, much less make a profit. So you're basically in a never-ending uphill battle to replenish your roster, while desperately hoping a few people will stick around long enough to become leaders and recruit under you. Some multi-level marketing companies have become so infamous for scamming that they've adapted to something called white labeling. That's essentially a term used to describe a product or service produced by one company, which is then bought, rebranded, and marketed by someone else. It's kind of like licensing, but it's distributed to multiple partners instead of just one. Those at the top of the pyramid concentrate on research and development, while the lower level sycophants can focus on marketing and recruiting. It's a pretty mutually beneficial symbiotic relationship. For all intents and purposes, white labeling acts as a clone of the main business. You can even think of them as subsidiaries, oftentimes using the same finance department. Fake Forex traders use white labels to save themselves the trouble of starting an actual legit business like a LLC or an S Corp where you have to have an EIN number. They like to frame it in the same context as becoming an entrepreneur, but all they really do is change their membership status from a customer to an IBO. I kid you not, that's literally all it takes. These fees are significantly less than what customers pay, which basically encourages existing members to stay on board and become recruiters themselves. And that's how their system keeps perpetuating. And once you go this route, they no longer call it a fee. It's more so referred to as a business license or startup cost or seed money. So instead of becoming a skilled Forex trader like they told you you could be, you end up becoming nothing more than a glorified salesman hoping to get rich quick from somebody else's ignorance. Now, let me re-emphasize, all these MLM IBOs are not the bosses of their white labels. They agree to a contract with numerous stipulations from the real company. That contract states specific rules that they must follow in order to maintain membership. If violated, the multi-level marketers can be reprimanded or even kicked out. But the real bosses are the ones at the top of the pyramid. They're the ones who mandate how products and services can be marketed, which new ones are introduced, and the price points at which they're offered. Even if they wanted to, the lower tier members can't offer much of a discount to entice potential customers because they would barely break even to cover their own costs. On the flip side of that, they can't mark up either because people can just easily go to the website and find the real price for everything. So MLMs are more like club promoters than business owners. They even use the same corny ass promo flyer graphics. I mean, look at this. Can you see any difference? Do multi level marketers make money? Sure, it's completely possible. That's not even debatable. But in order to do so, they have to cannibalize their own business partners as primary customers. Of course, some people are okay with making a quick buck, not caring who they hurt in the process. They're completely fine with layering histrionics on top of hoaxes just to make something seem legit. But as for me, all money ain't good money. I'd rather take a loss trying to help one person than willingly mislead the masses just to make a living. You see, the systemic flaw with multi level marketing is that it's predicated on the assumption of infinite markets, which do not exist. There's a finite number of people on the planet, so at some point, each multi level marketer has recruited everybody they possibly can in their network, and there's nobody else left to sell to. Then eventually, it all comes collapsing down. We're at a point in history where every part of our lives is assigned a market value, and morality is no exception. Every single day, we are inundated by imposters selling a version of education that measures enlightenment by materialism. This is such a tragic and honestly perverted interpretation of affluence and competence. Forex scammers make it seem like they're living in the lap of luxury and you somehow have to pay them just to play in this market. But again, nothing can be further from the truth. All you really need is an internet connection, a broker, and a platform. So if you want it bad enough, you can learn to develop the skill to trade in this market. Yeah, sure, it might take years to develop the ability to become consistently profitable, but it's something you'll have for the rest of your life. So as for now, just take the pressure off yourself and think of Forex as a hobby as you're starting out, and not some desperate Hail Mary to reach your goals of financial freedom. As I mentioned before, there are plenty of free educational tools you can find online, and if you need more of a group dynamic to help you learn, there are also a lot of communities you can join. So definitely use these free resources, my channel included. In conclusion, let me just say, I am all for capitalism. The word profit is literally in my handle, so by all means, make yours. My problem is with the deceitful cults of free enterprise who maliciously and vigorously exploit vulnerable people. That shit is not cool. These insipid, predatory cretins swim in the warm waters of theatricality and deception, profiteering upon a revolving door of unsuspecting victims. They spoon-feed financial freedom-flavored snake oil to their recruits, seducing them into thinking anyone can strike it rich so long as they obediently pledge allegiance to their team. They do whatever is financially expedient for themselves instead of doing what's beneficial for their members. Multi-level marketers are just like plastic bags, empty and unsustainable. They are completely and utterly ethically constipated. But again, you ain't got to take my word for it though. If you're already in one of these pyramid schemes or being recruited by one, then ask your upline how many people from their family is in their group. If their academy is so life-changing and grants the blueprint to prosperity, then wouldn't everybody they know and love be a part of it? These fake-ass, feckless educators inject their mystical, duplicitous trade wisdom into the gaping cavity of trusting hopefuls, attempting to flush out as much money as possible. Their goal isn't to inform, it's to enroll, so they can scale up the pyramid of participants for residual income. Unfortunately, the seemingly endless chain of newcomers are being sold a ticket to a flight that has already departed. I, for one, have had enough of these scams. Even though it's impossible to shame people who have no shame, I hope that this video can at least help sterilize the infectious propaganda that these MLMs are spreading. You deserve valuable information from people who actually study and trade in this market, not con artists trying to sell you a lifestyle. But as the old saying goes, those who can, do. Those who can't, teach. Thank you so much for checking out this episode. If you enjoyed the content, leave a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Also, do me a favor, hit those like and subscribe buttons. I'll be pumping out more videos showing how to trade Forex the proper way, so you'll definitely want to tune in for that. In the meantime, hit me up on social media. Those links are in the About section of this channel. Until then, just remember that this game is free. All you gotta do is pay attention.